And welcome, everybody. We are live here on the grind session. We're back at it again, the longest running and the #1 high school basketball show in the state of Kentucky and the mountains of West Virginia. As always, we got Kevin Keathley over to my right, and we got our trusty producer, which is Thomas Rainey. Thomas, tonight, we may give you a bad name because I'm doing the producing here, but Coach Keathley, Thomas, we're back at it again.
Well, listen, Thomas Rainey, the maestro, been a while since we've been together. Season 6 of the grind session. Man, oh man, a lot to talk about. A lot's went down in a year. You better believe it.
Oh, I'm telling you, I am pumped. This is basketball season. Snow's flying, games getting rescheduled. I'm pulling what little bit of hair I got left out, Coach, trying to fix the schedule. But, man, I hope we play some basketball tomorrow night.
Well, we're lucky that the snow come in, guys, because, we've been trying to get the grind session off the ground, but we're doing so many games these days, it's been hard for us to get it off the ground. This right here was the launching pad we needed, and thanks to Mother Earth, we're here tonight.
We're ready to go, Darryl McCoy. And, man, you talk about it's went by in a blink of an eye. We're halfway through the year, 5 weeks to go. And it's been a roller coaster ride so far. We've covered, D&D Sports Network's covered, I mean, what? We're already into the hundreds, 200 game deal, right, Thomas?
Oh, every bit of it, every bit of it. And, you know, I was joking about pulling my hair out, but when these games get scheduled or gets canceled, they get rescheduled, and nights you think you had 1 or 2 games, now you got 4 or 5. So, I mean, it's going to be a busy week because a lot of games are going back to tomorrow or scheduled to start, and then it's going to push on into the weekend. Boy, oh boy, we got a jam-packed schedule the rest of the week, Coach.
Yeah, and it don't look like things are going to get any easier because this weekend we got some storms coming in as well, and I would say that's probably going to throw an even bigger wrench into the plans. But, guys, before we get started, we want to thank Punk's Tires. If you're looking for tires, make sure you go buy Punk's Tires. Take advantage of their free tread test. Don't send your loved one back to college or back to their home without good tires on their car. Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires will take care of you for all your tire needs. Now, guys, I guess we'll start, as always, we normally start on the collegiate level. Kentucky Wildcats looking good this year. Mark Pope looks like that was the move that Kentucky needed as, so far Kentucky's come off, had a hot 2024 and looking to build off that as you head into SEC play, build off that momentum from the previous year.
Well, listen, when you talk about you got to turn over that roster, Darryl McCoy. They lost everybody, whether it was to Arkansas or Ohio State or wherever the case may be, guys going to the NBA. And then you have to put together a roster in a matter of months. That's ultra difficult to do. And the one thing, without a doubt, Mark Pope did a tremendous job assembling a team that fits his style of play. So the pieces work for his philosophy and his style of play. And they've gotten, listen, like you said, they started out hot. 3 big-time wins over top 10 opponents. Hasn't happened. I don't know if it's happened in my lifetime that's happened in a season. 3 wins over top 10 opponents. That's big time.
Well, everybody knows I was anti-Coach Cal, right? I mean, I made that pretty clear. I was one of the naysayers. I'm just glad we've got, and you said a key word, a team. We got guys playing for the name on the front of the jersey instead of the back of the jersey, or how much money they're going to get on their next contract. I'm just excited. These guys have bought into what Pope is saying. They're excited. They've got, of course, the fan base now back energized behind them. And everybody said, oh, it's going to be the end. We're not going to get the top recruits. Well, guess what? Coach Pope did a pretty good job assembling a team, Coach. And you know a lot about that, how hard it is to build a team that fast. And he did it through the transfer portal, which that has totally changed college basketball.
It really is. One of the things that makes Eric Musselman so good and he always said the reason he's able to reassemble a roster year after year after year, he was way ahead in that portal thing before anybody else was doing it, is because he coached on the pro level. So when you lose a guy, pick up a guy, lose a guy, pick up a guy. So Mark Pope, credit Mark Pope, he figured it out quick on how to, okay, let's find the guys I need, and let's find the guys that's going to play my brand of basketball. And that's the biggest part, and everybody knows that. You don't have to coach the sidelines to know to win. You got to have guys that fit who you are, identity and philosophy, Darryl McCoy.
Yeah, you got to. And, at the end of the day, he had probably the toughest task of any incoming coach in the nation. When you look, lost every player, had to assemble an entire roster. And, he's come in, as you mentioned, his style of play, he's went and got pieces that fit his style of play. And right now, that's why you're seeing him play so well. He's kind of, brought that West Coast basketball to the SEC, and it'd be interesting to see. Right now, they're down 9 to Georgia, and it'd be interesting to see how that style of play works in the SEC. It worked pretty good against Florida. We'll see moving on into SEC basketball how Pope and the Cats pan out. But, I like what he's doing. He was last minute getting this roster together. When you look at what he's assembling for next year, he's getting exactly the pieces he needs to fit that system, and he's getting high caliber pieces is the difference between this year and next year.
Justin Allen said Tennessee down 19 at the half, coach, to Florida, only made 4 field goals in the first half.
I was talking to somebody, and you hear people, the experts on TV saying that Tennessee was going to roll, and then I didn't think so after watching Florida play. Florida's tough. They play very similar how Tennessee plays their guards do, and at home, I had Florida getting that W at home. They're really, really good, and that's big. And a big point that you made, Darryl McCoy, he brought in that West Coast style Mark Pope did. It's a lot like Braxton Keathley heading back to the gym, but he play. It's like a WAC team, Darryl. His team, his Kentucky team, plays like a WAC team.
That's what I was getting.
Like the WAC conference.
Definitely the WAC, Mountain West. It looks a lot like them teams, and a lot like comparing it to kind of the mountains here. A lot like Chandler Thompson plays 16th region basketball in the 15th region, and that's why you see Lawrence County look different than other teams. Yeah,
that's a good point. Thomas Rainey, all about. You're a big time fan. We talked about it over the years on the ground session. Coach Chandler Thompson team, how Lawrence plays a different brand in a more physical 15th region, and it's tough to prepare against, especially postseason play.
I think he's the best. I've said it, and I know I get flack every time I say it, but I think he gets more out of his team than anybody. I think those kids go out and just play their tails off for him. I think he's one of the best coaches around.
Yeah, kind of the Rick Pitino of the 15th region, does more with less.
Absolutely.
So as we sit here, that takes care of UK, but how about Ty Compton and the Bears? All of our area teams are playing solid basketball right now. You talk KCU, Alice Lloyd, and UPike. Basketball is good right here in the Coalfields.
Go ahead, Thomas.
No, I'm just going to say I was so blessed and honored to get to do that UPike game over at the field house. I know they didn't pull out the victory. Great ball game in the end. Lost to a very good West Virginia Tech team, but man, oh man, how much fun was I was just excited all week for that game, and being able just to be a part of it was something special. That's for sure.
Well, Ty Compton. I talked to Ty over the years, and especially right when he first took over. And Ty, in those conversations we had, he said he's slowly going to do it different than how Kelly did it. Not that Kelly did anything wrong, and at least he won a national title and year after year was a top 10 team. But he said he's going to do it more with Appalachia. He's going to recruit more with 4-year kids instead of 2-year kids. And now the move from the Mid-South to the AAC for U-Pike, man, now all of a sudden it's them and Union College and a couple of more of those other teams. And you see what's happening. They're kind of dominating with those Appalachian kids.
Well, you're seeing it. You know, we had a post the other day. Cade Looney picked up his 1,000th point. You know, that's a name D&D sports fans heard 3 or 4 years ago, Darryl. Right here, we talked a lot about Mr. Cade Looney. Of course, you know, Key and Warwick's. What can we say about Key? And now we got, you know, Jalen Rigdon there, Aiden Barnett. We got so many mountain kids that it's not funny. So he is doing just that. He's recruiting the mountains.
Yeah, he's doing it as well as anybody right now. And, you know, as you look moving forward, you know, I know that he's got his eyes on some big mountain prospects, you know, coming out this year. But, you know, a lot, you've seen these area schools make an emphasis on bringing in mountain kids. You've seen a lot more of them start recruiting local. And, you know, that just tells you, you know, and we'll talk about it a little bit later as we head into high school basketball, you know, further on in the show here. But, you know, it's a good time to be a basketball fan here in the mountains. You know, a lot of good stuff going on and a lot of attention to the players and really the communities here in the Coalfields. You know, I mean, if you're a basketball fan, you know, it's been a long time since we've had this much good basketball being played where everybody has a chance.
It's really, really good right now. And the tentacles of college programs, the tentacles of scouting gurus, the tentacles of just the basketball landscape has really attached itself to Eastern Kentucky the last year and a half. And really, Darryl McCoy and Thomas Rainey, you know this, it's really escalated the last 6 to 8 months. Just the eyes on this area has grown.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. I mean, we've got some great basketball going on, some great individual performances I'm sure we're going to talk about throughout the show. The stats leaders are starting to get posted on D&D, and you're seeing some unbelievable basketball being played right here in the mountains. Got to give a shout out, Darryl, to one of our favorites, Coach Matthew Perry. He joined us, said, "What's up, gentlemen?" Got the opportunity to go down and cover some of his games. What, about a week ago, guys? You two did down in Bath County?
Went down on Sunday, and I tell you, he didn't disappoint. Matthew Perry, he's got him a squad there at Bath County that, you know, I mean, on any given night, they could pull an upset. You know, when you're that long and you're that athletic, you got an opportunity, right, Coach?
Got an opportunity. He's right there knocking on the door to having a region contending team. What he said is the truth. He may be a player positional wise away, but he's got all the pieces he needs around that. He's just trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be my guy at X, Y, and Z. And I'll tell you this too, that Dan Swartz Classic brought out some of the best talent. I'll tell you what, you remember we watched Mitchell Cox and this kid named Leak go at it. And I said, this Leak kid can play, Darryl McCoy. Yep. And he's about 5'10", might weigh 100 pounds. That kid's averaging 32 points a game this year. He can flat out go. There was some talent in that building.
There was a lot of talent. And as we're sitting here in the comment section, Carl Whitey Little's tuning in, Jack Stepp. We got Joseph Decker tuning in, who does a lot for the mountains here. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Guys, we're going to come back next segment here, and we're going to talk next segment. We're going to go in talking about what we've covered up to this point in the first month of the season. And then we'll go in. We got to release the Double Quick Players of the Week. We got the top 10 boys will kick off today. We'll start the girls next week. And then we're going to talk all girls and boys hoops throughout the show. And we also going to bring in 14th region guru Cody Thomas later in the show to talk about the 14th region when we get to that point. But guys, stick right here with us. Hit that like and share button. We're going to take a quick word from our sponsors. Then we'll be right back here on the Grind Session.
Experiencing pain or an injury is a part of life, but don't let that hold you back. Whether it's chronic aches and pains, athletic injuries, or recovering from a surgery or other physical issues, HPT Physical Therapy is here to help you return to your normal activities safely and as quick as possible with a plan of care designed just for you. We have been serving the communities of Eastern Kentucky for over 20 years, and we have convenient locations in Pikeville, Prestonsburg, and Paintsville, Kentucky. Check us out at hptphysicaltherapy.com. You have a choice of where you go for physical therapy. Choose the best.
Made in America. What does that mean? It means jobs. It means craftsmanship. And when it comes to Vaughn Bassett furniture, it means value. And Kemper recognizes that. That's why they've dedicated an entire gallery to Vaughn Bassett. Made in America. See the quality. And now, see the price. Come see your favorite Kemper store in
Craving a taste of Central America? Head to Sal's Steakhouse. Sizzle your senses with mouthwatering steaks, juicy burgers, savory chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Sal's Steakhouse, where your taste buds will thank you. Unleash the flavor at Sal's. Taste tradition, taste the difference.
Back here on the grind session, Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, and Thomas the Maestro Rainey tuning in here for our 6th season of the grind session. As this segment sponsored by Hatfield and McCoy Funeral Home, been in business over 50 years in Toller, Kentucky. Hit them up for all your funeral needs. Guys, as we're sitting here, got a lot of people tuning in. Guys, hit the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for this season. And as we move on, I want to talk to you guys about what y'all – Thomas, I know you was at the Wimpson Fieldhouse, so that's I know you put a lot into that performance, put a lot into that show, but you got to see Pike Central, Tug Valley, and then you got the college game. I mean, how about the Fieldhouse putting on a show like that?
Well, you know, it's first class. They've done so much over there. And like I said, to get an older venue like that, it just has class, Darryl. Those are old. They have something about it. Those old gyms are just different. Wouldn't you agree, Coach? You get these new cookie cutter gyms. They're just not the same. Give me the throwback playing in the field house. The Logan Field House is the same way. You know, some of those old facilities, man, I love it. And listen, 52,000 people watched the high school game beforehand. You're right. 52,000, 20,000 people watched on D&D Sports the next game to watch the college game. That was our first time covering UPike, and over 20,000 people tuned in.
That's unbelievable. That's bonkos, Darryl McCoy. Those numbers, I went back and checked those, and I know Thomas Rainey really dials into those numbers. But, you know, just as a competitor, I always want to see everybody succeed. If it's showcasing the talent, whoever it is, I'm not hating on nobody, but you know, if I'm a competitor and I want to win every single time, whether it's D&D covering games, Darryl McCoy, it's been unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about 30, 40, 50,000 people. The Martin County Pike Central game, 50,000 people.
That's insane. You know, I know, you know, up to this point, you know, the game that I've had the most fun covering, and it had really nothing to do with our coverage area, is when me and Coach Keathley went up and covered the Capital versus Huntington Prep game. I'm telling you, Thomas, it was insane. And that shows why we need to have a game during the day, at least one district game a year.
I agree. And don't regret, Capital fans. You'll be right here on the D&D Sports Network tomorrow as you come down to Chapmanville. So we'll get another look at that Capital team, man. They're really good.
No, that game got canceled.
Oh,
Yeah, we just got word today, just about an hour ago, it got canceled.
Well, I was all excited. So, but anyways, you're exactly right. The atmosphere, they brought the kids in out of class, let them have a little treat, watch the ball game, and man, oh man, it didn't disappoint. Two great coaches, and it was an honor for us to be selected to cover it. You know, when they called us to come up and cover it over the local TV affiliate, that shows, I think we're doing okay. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to brag, but I think we're doing all right. But so many good comments out here. Catbird, Isaac, man, oh man, she's one of our biggest fans. She said, people listen to you guys because you praise the kids. And she said, kids in Eastern Kentucky. Well, there you go. What the wonderful thing of restreams, right? Blessed to have D&D. Hey, and listen, we're going to get a night to recognize her, too, here on January 25th, when they're recognizing 50 years of girls female basketball in the 58th district. And I'm sure we're going to be there to cover that. So, and if anybody's seen Catbird play, she can play a little bit of basketball.
And Catbird, you're talking about Catbird. She's one of the cornerstones of high school hoops, female high school hoops in the mountains. If anyone deserves that recognition, it's Catbird, because it ain't just what she done on the basketball court. It's the lives that she's impacted for the last 40 years. These student athletes here in the mountains, Catbird Isaacs, and then you talk about Bridget Clay. You talk about all the other big-time players that came down the pipe. That's going to be a big night when they celebrate 50 years of girls hoops here in the mountains.
Absolutely. Jerry Grigsby, another name right there, Coach. I mean, there's going to be so many names in the house that day. I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be really well. But I tell you, though, Coach, when you went down there to Capitol, that was our first trip to Capitol. I mean, how about that crowd there in the middle of a day coming and supporting their teams like that?
Darryl McCoy, you nailed it. When I was trying to think, okay, what was my favorite moment so far covering hoops this year on the D&D Sports Network? I'm glad you brought that up, because that is the top of the list. The reason, the occasion of what it meant to both head coaches, the environment was absolutely insane. It was a packed Capitol building. The entire student body. You had the band. You had even a majorette somewhere in there. It was insane. The crowd from start to finish. The game lived up to the hype. It was everything you could ask for and more. And man, oh man, I might pat ourselves on the back. I think we brought the energy, Darryl McCoy.
Well, they had one majorette. You got one. Yeah. One. But as you
got to
there,
start somewhere.
You do. You got to start somewhere. Got to get them back into it.
Exactly.
But guys, coming into this year here, we've already seen some changes, going on, and of course, we're going to go into the hoops where every team's at. Our thoughts later on here, but so far, two of the big changes. We'll start on the girls' side. How about Shelby Valley making a coaching change in the mid-season? John Meade taking over the Shelby Valley Wildcats there. That's got to be a tough situation for the school and the girls there.
Go ahead,
I'm a huge John Meade fan. He was an assistant coach with my daughter. I've known John for a long, long time. Nobody is going to work any harder at building that program, back than John Meade. I think that John Meade will do a great job. It's tough coming in mid-season. You're right. Unexpected, but things change, things happen. You gotta run with the cards you're dealt with, or play with the cards you're dealt with, right? Yep. So I think he'll do a fine job. I know it was probably tough. He was coaching the middle school boys, if I believe, right?
Well, yeah. That's where I'm going with it, Darryl McCoy, is okay. You got John Meade taking over on the female side, the girls' side mid-season. Well, Matthew Taylor, he's a loyal guy. He preaches loyalty. He's very cautious about who he surrounds himself with on the coaching staff. And he said, I won't coach me by my side. They were roommates at Alice Lloyd College, played together. They were together this entire off season preparing. You've been in several practices, and he was coaching the junior high. How does that impact the high school boys side? That's my question. I have not had a chance to talk to Coach Taylor. I don't know if Coach Meade is still involved with the boys. Has he stepped away, or is he still involved?
I'm not for sure.
I'm not either. Justin Allen, I know he's close to Coach Meade, so maybe he can tell us if he's still in the mix there with the boys. But, that's tough, because they had a good middle school team going there on the boys. And, I do know that Greg Napier and Coach Taylor stepped in the midterm until they got Coach Meade and helped coach. So, I think it was the best possible fit John Meade was for them girls, because he had been around the program, he had been around the school, the girls were familiar with him, and it was just an easy fix.
Yeah, Justin Allen said they fixed the schedule so he can continue doing it all.
Okay, good.
That's big. That's big for Coach Taylor.
Yeah,
huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then on the boys' side, I guess the biggest change is obviously Zaid Rash going to Phelps. As we're sitting there, that's huge.
Darryl McCoy, listen, you talk about. I'm going to be honest with you here. When I heard that happened, and people might find that hard to believe because of the rivalry, Darryl McCoy.
Yeah.
Belfry and Mullins had all those years. It was as intense as any high school game.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, it hurt me. I was hurt to see that Zaid Rash had left Belfry High School, and not to take nothing away from anybody at Belfry High School, but I felt like he was the heart and soul of that Belfry program. I'm not necessarily talking about the 2024-5 team. I'm just talking about the program and I know Carter Juke's been there as well. He's just as important, but I'm talking about he's been there, Darryl McCoy, from the get-go, and that was tough for me to see because I'm a big-time Zaid Rash fan. You know that. And to see him in a different color uniform, thought we was going to get to see him play a few nights ago. Didn't happen, but, man, definitely going to be different to see him in a Phelps uniform. But I will say this, maybe – the change of environment will, because he's an elite. He is as elite as they get. Maybe that will get. He will maybe sometimes a breath of fresh air, right?
Yeah. It's even bigger than that. This was huge for Phelps because you've never seen a player leave Belfry to go to Phelps. You've never seen that happen, and it was something, and I think it opened up a lot of doors, and we'll talk about that later. But I think at the end of the day, I think the move will pay off. I think Belfry's a better team now, and I think that Rash will make Phelps a better team. So I think they're both going to end up in better spots.
Well, here's what I'll say. I honestly, I never get upset for a kid transferring, because if a kid thinks that's the best thing for him, I support him. Heck, my son did it twice, right? Like as much we did it changed 3 times. But my point I'm trying to make is, what does it do for Phelps? Wow. Now you've got another good guard to go with just a man-child in Tyler Weddington. Come on. I mean, that guy's for 2 years now, he is just tearing it up. And now he's got another guard that can help him. Now, listen, Justin Allen says Coach Smith is building a winning culture at Phelps. This guy's going to pay dividends in the future. Hey, this ain't the Phelps you think of in the past. This team can put a hurting on somebody. They're a quality program now.
Thomas and Justin Allen nails it. Darryl McCoy, I was telling somebody at the field house about an hour ago, I said, this Phelps team is absolutely legit. I had a college coach that was tuning in to the Phelps Prestonsburg game, they're going to reach out to the guard from Phelps. What's his name, Darryl?
Jamar Stewart.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to reach out to Jamar Stewart because of that game that was on D&D and how he played. I don't know if they've done it yet. Cameron Smith, if you're tuning in, you're going to want to maybe watch for that phone call. But they've got talented guys, and adding Zaid Rash, an elite level handler, elite level shooter, great instincts. My, they can make a run at this thing come March. And I'm with everybody on this. Cameron Smith can flat out coach his rear end off.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be it's going to be very tough, And when you added the new pieces over there, 3 new pieces to Belfry, it kind of created a log jam. So I think now the roles are more defined. So, and like I said, this is no negativity at all on Rash's part because that's a huge loss. But I think Belfry's a better team now. They're playing better basketball since then. And just like I think him and Weddington has had magic before, we've seen it at the middle school level. I think they're going to have that same kind of magic at the high school level. And I think Rash will be able to play more his style of basketball over there in Phelps. So, at the end of the day, the bigger thing that it done is if he gets eligible, and he may be eligible right now from what I hear, that opens up the door, for the KHSAA moving forward, guys. For a kid to transfer in season, in district, I don't know that I've ever seen that before. We've seen Charlotte Kidd get eligible just a couple of weeks before that. If Rash gets eligible in district, then that opens up a lot of things moving forward for players.
Darryl and Thomas, me and Darryl was talking about this, Thomas Rainey. This sets a precedent now that the move of him and Charlotte Kidd in season sets the precedent that now you cannot put the the genie back in the bottle, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Thomas? You can't. It's a precedent moving forward.
No, I completely agree. And again, I'm the one. I will not hold it against anybody transferring. But you're right. It's always been the rule. Well, if you start the season, you're kind of stuck until the year's over, right? Not now. If that happens, not now. It changes a lot of things. And listen, the KHSAA's got. They just got to come up with a rule. You can transfer once, no questions asked, or something.
Yeah.
And just
I like
make
West
it simple.
Virginia.
Because the first time we transferred it to Jay, we missed golf season. For Jake, that was his sport. We missed golf season, and he got eligible to play basketball. Well, the second time somebody said, because somebody said do it this way, I did it that way, and he was ruled eligible in 7 days. It's just there's too many loopholes. Just make it a policy you can transfer once and go about it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, as I said, whatever college is doing, the high school's going to do soon after.
Well, that's just what Justin Allen asked. Do you think high schools will move toward what the college is doing? I agree with you. There's got to be something. There's got to be a transfer portal where you enter your name. And Alan, it's awful warm here where I'm at, buddy. So,
well, I'll say this: West Virginia's already got the. Go ahead.
Great, Coach.
No, I was going to say West Virginia does have that 1 year rule now, right, Darryl, or that one transfer rule now.
Yep, you allow one free transfer.
So I'm sure Kentucky's moving forward. The final thing I want to say on Zaid Rash, I know we'll probably talk about him again later, is Darryl. What I know we've talked, and you say Zaid's great at coming off screens, catching, shooting. But honestly, Darryl, I think for Phelps and for him, he's a kid that needs the ball in his hands, and I think he works perfect at the PG spot.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that. Well, it'll be interesting to see because I the one thing I agree with you moving forward, but I don't know if Cameron Smith will take the ball out of Jamar Stewart's hands to let him have the ball over there. But that is Zaid Rash. If Zaid Rash had a natural position, it's probably point guard.
Yeah, I agree.
And because he's just a special talent, and so that's a little bit of the changes that we've seen so far up to this point. We mentioned Shyla Kidd, taking leaving Pikeville, going to Betsy Lane. So I guess now it's starting to open up, and they're starting to be a little more lax. And of course, rest of them was all in season, but those are the only two I could think of that transferred within the region.
And look what an impact she's made, Darryl. I mean, that Betsy Lane's right there now on the girls' side as well. You're seeing a whole lot of improvement on them with still a young team. So, she's made an impact, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll read your guys' comments in the GMR comment section, and we'll also release the Double Quick Player of the Week. We got the top 10. We're going to talk about the players that's leading the way. We're going to go through, try region by region, team by team, talk a little bit about how each team's doing. And again, we'll have Cody Thomas with us here in a little bit. Continue watching us here on the Grind Session. Kevin Keathley, Thomas Rainey, and Darryl McCoy.
Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance, Little Flower Clinic, and Quantum Healthcare remind you that January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Cervical cancer is most frequently diagnosed in women between the ages of 35 and 44. The two most important things you can do are to get the HPV vaccine if you're eligible and to be tested regularly. This January, we encourage you to learn more about cervical health and cervical cancer prevention and take those steps to help eliminate this preventable cancer. Contact the Women's Center at Quantum Healthcare at 436-0711 or call us at Little Flower Clinic 487.
Come on down to Moorcrosser, 1523 West Avenue here in Williamson, West Virginia, where we've got great deals going on right now on all of our new and pre-owned inventory. Guys, we got rates as low as 0% on 36 months on select units, as well as up to $8,000 off in rebates on select units as well. We have Wranglers, Compasses, Grand Cherokees, second and third roll. We also have the Wagoneers. We have Rams 2500s, 1500s. We've got a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles. Come on down, check us out here at Moorcrosser. Well, we're not here to sell you a car. We're here to help you.
And we are back here on the Grind Session, Season 6. We got Kevin Keathley over to my right, Thomas Rainey, the producer, the maestro, and I'm Darryl McCoy here, guys, as we're getting you caught up on all the high school basketball up to this point. And, guys, this segment brought to you courtesy of Bray and Oakley. Hit up Bray and Oakley for all your insurance needs, located in Chapmanville, West Virginia, and in Logan, West Virginia.
Hey,
all right, guys.
Let's go to breaking news, Darryl. I checked my phone during the break.
Okay.
Let's go to that other football, that one that don't bounce easy, or let's go to that other ball that don't bounce easy. The football for the annual Blue-White Bowl at Shelby Valley High School. The first game at 6 p.m. Johnson Central will take on Letcher Central, and in the nightcap, coming to play at Shelby Valley, the Ironton Tigers.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Hey, that's the big time football right there.
So they will play Shelby Valley?
Yep, they will play Shelby Valley. Just posted on the Shelby Valley football page.
Whoo, I'll tell you, that's barking up a tall tree there, guys, when you take off the Ironton Tigers.
Wow.
Yeah, they huge. All right, guys, as we're getting started here this segment, real quick, let's go ahead and release the Double Quick Players of the Week this week, and I'll let Thomas read off their accolades.
All right, and let's start with the I think that's the wrong picture there.
Huh?
Sophie Atkins.
Yeah.
For Lawrence.
Yeah, that's Myra McLaren. I'll have to get hers up.
Okay, go ahead, Darryl.
Well, it's Kyra McLaren. She's 1-2 on the year, 22 points a game, averaging 7.4 rebounds from Daytona Beach Sunshine Classic. When they was down there, they went 1-2. That's where her wins come from. They lost to Stone Memorial, where she had 17 points, 4 rebounds. They also lost against Pulaski County, where they had 19 points, 12 rebounds. And then North Bullitt, they ended up getting a win against North Bullitt. So hats off to Kyra McLaren, and we'll get the correct graphic up here in a moment. Braxton Keathley, 5-0 the last 5 games. He's averaging 39 points a game, 10.8 rebounds. That includes 2 50-point performances, 56 against Phelps, 51 against Mingo Central. And listen, ever since they got that first win in the win column, they've not looked back. I'll let Coach Keathley, he probably knows these Black Cats as well as anybody. From what I'm seeing right now, from Braxton Keathley to Caden Allen to Connor Napier and the supporting cast, they're looking pretty good.
Darryl McCoy, you're exactly right. And I'll say this, and me and you've talked, we'll be on those rides to a game. And I said, Darryl, and those losses, this is before they hit that first win, I was like, Darryl, they're not playing particularly bad. They played really well against Pineville, a really good team. They played really well against Floyd Central. They played really well against Lawrence County outside that first 5 minutes of the first quarter. It was those 4 to 5 minute segments that cost them maybe 2 to 3 wins for Prestonsburg, but they've been able to close the door. Now they've been a little herky jerky the last couple of minutes, but they found a way to get it done. And you're exactly right when you talk about Caden Allen, Connor Napier. Caden Allen, if I'm not mistaken, has 4 to 6 double-doubles already this year. Connor Napier had maybe his best all-around performance against Pikeville. How he guarded E.B. Walters, had 14 points, 8 rebounds against E.B. Those 3 guys that's been playing together now for 2.5 years, starting together, has really been a great nucleus. They're right now 4th in the region in rebounding. So they rebound the ball really well. And then now you're getting you're getting quality performances by Ryan Reynolds, Darryl McCoy, an X Factor. He's doing. Listen, you nailed something on a broadcast. You said some of these other guys are feeling comfortable in their skin, and they're figuring out how they can be an asset. Ryan Reynolds, X Factor, 50-50 balls, putbacks, running the floor well, taking Sloan, taking charges, grabbing. He's averaging almost 5 rebounds a game. Taking Sloan, doing the little things. Graham Schutz, and you've talked about it, how big a fan you became of Graham Schutz, outstanding 8th grader, guard, can knock down shots, can handle it, does a lot of great things. And then what about, your guy and my guy, everybody's guy, Caden Aaron. Pivotal minutes against Pikeville and even Mingo Central, Darryl.
Caden Aaron needs to be playing more. I've said it, and I've said it since the beginning. If Prestonsburg is going to win big-time ball games, you've got to have a piece like Caden Aaron coming off the bench. You've seen him come in, play big minutes. You've seen what he can do. As he continues to get in basketball shape, he played football, and I think it threw him off his game a little bit. But as you're seeing him come back, get into the fray a little bit, you're starting to see the Black Cats reach their full potential. And listen, I mean, hats off. Anytime you got a kid like Braxton Keathley, we've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's not a better player in the 15th region than Braxton Keathley. And Braxton Keathley, what he's doing right now is truly immaculate. Whenever you look at the stats he's throwing up, #1 scorer in the state. But more than that, I had somebody, I wasn't paying attention. I'll be honest with you. I I thought Prestonsburg was going to get waxed, and so I wasn't even paying attention to that ball game. And then somebody messaged me 2 quarters into it, and they said, turn it over. They said Braxton is getting double, triple teamed, and he's hitting open shooters. As you're seeing, him trust his teammates more, and his teammates trust him more. That if they get it to him, there's not going to be a forced shot, or if him trusting the teammates, like, they can knock down shots, and as they're building trust in each other, Prestonsburg, they're starting to get something special going on there in the Berg.
Thomas, I'll tell you this. Elijah Justice did an unbelievable game plan. It was obvious and evident that it was, be very physical with Keathley every time he goes to the bucket. If you got to foul him, you foul him. Put him at the line. He done a tremendous job of game planning. And I will say, I thought Braxton. I thought everybody, Braxton, Caden, Connor, everybody really, really stepped up in that game in terms of finding guys. In particular, those 3 against their pressure, and just a tremendous job. But I did think that game in particular, Braxton did he had 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. It wasn't 50, but it was a different type of a good performance.
Well, I go back and I'm trying to think back. Maybe you 2 guys was covering the game, but didn't this run start when the Reynolds kid was inserted in the starting lineup?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking it away from Braxton, Coach. I think he's like I said, I think he's one of the best, if not the best player in the region. But man, oh man, what that kid, the other kids have brought is energy. You talk about the Reynolds kids, you talk about Caden Allen. He stepped up. I can remember Caden 2 years ago. He wasn't rebounding like he is now. He's an outside shooter who liked to stick around that 3-point line. Now he's changed his game, and he's made a difference. And I think you nailed it. They bought into the team mentality. It doesn't matter if Braxton scores 50 or if Braxton scores 25. They're still doing what's best for the team, and that's the difference.
Yeah. Note on Caden Allen and Connor Napier, Darryl. I've not checked the numbers recent or in the last few days, but Caden Allen is shooting near 40% from 3. I think he's averaging 8 rebounds a game. Connor Napier, I think, is shooting better than that from 3, an insane number from 3. And his rebounding totals have went up. And I think Connor Napier's top 10 in the state and field goal percentage right now at 63, 64%. So Caden and Connor as seniors, I promise you, this ain't hyperbole. This isn't because I'm on the grind session. We're talking about it. I've said it to you. I've said it behind the scenes to other people. I feel like Connor and Caden has done a tremendous job being leaders this year.
I do too.
Yeah, that's been the difference, honestly. I think Caden Allen, I think the maturity that I've seen him, like when we interviewed him the other night, talking to him, you can tell Caden Allen's maturity. He's went to being a true leader now, and he's wanting to see everything. He understands, what everybody knew, but it's hard to sometimes do it as a player. Everybody knew that Prestonsburg, they got a thoroughbred that can lead them to the, Kentucky Derby. But at the end of the day, if you want to win the Kentucky Derby, then, you're going to have to put your faith in that horse. And that's what they're doing right now. And they're all playing and they're all rallying around him. And Thomas, you hit it. Ryan Reynolds, he's been the key. They inserted him into the lineup. And he's come up with clutch play after clutch play, clutch rebounds. And now they're getting production from all 5 spots on the floor. And in the meantime, on the offensive end, Keathley's doing his thing. Until somebody can slow him down, I think this winning streak's going to roll on.
Well, you look, last thing I'm going to say, Prestonsburg right now as a team shooting the 3 ball, 36%.
Yeah.
That's the magic number, right? You want to shoot over 33% from 3. As a team, they're shooting 36% that's pretty impressive numbers.
Yeah, really impressive. And, and Coach Keathley hit it too. Like we talked many times in the car rides, the key to Prestonsburg being a great team is Caden Allen rebounding the basketball. Because Caden Allen is a rebounder like no other. When he wants to rebound, his length and, his athleticism, his strength, causes a lot of people problems. He does a good job boxing out. So that has as much to do, Caden Allen being a great rebounder has as much to do with Keathley dropping 50-point games in this winning streak. I mean, that's, everybody's got a star in their row. And right now, Caden Allen's a superstar in his. And so is Connor Nathan.
You nailed it. When Caden rebounds or Connor rebounds, because this, Darryl, and we talk about the transition work that your son as well as put in, as the work that you put in and getting up and down floor transition finishes. Well, now Caden Allen's rebounding, or Connor outletting to Braxton. Braxton's gone. You've seen that at the Schoolboy Classic against Schroeder and against McGolfin, where he once that outlet's hit him, it's hard to stop him from going downhill from half court on. So they're getting a lot of easy transition buckets.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, so, that's going to be the thing, I mean, they're going to get the biggest test of Keathley's young career, on, I think y'all play Thursday. Is that when y'all play? Yeah, Thursday at the All-A against the Martin County Cardinals, who a lot of people, have the number one team in the 15th region, and I would agree with that. But, so we'll see if they can continue, the momentum that they built with that Pikeville win. So, guys, as you're sitting here moving on, got a lot of comments coming in the comment section. Justin Allen says, I think Caden said it well in the post-game interview after Phelps. He knows he's not a scorer. He looks for Braxton. The team looks for Braxton, and now they're buying into the Rose to win. Couldn't be happier about a team growing like this one. Absolutely good to see Prestonsburg basketball back on top. Ashley Dalton says Chapmanville getting a lot of great experience in Daytona Sunshine Classic. They went 2-1 at number 1 AA Wheeling Central on Saturday, and Wheeling said, "Don't sleep on that team, on this team as they grow." Well, we've seen the Chapmanville Tigers. Dakota Dalton has been right there leading them in scoring the last 3 games. They're getting that sensational freshman jumping up, playing bigger than what anybody thought he could. And then you talking about the transfers, Keaton Terry, you talking about Jay Brock. I mean, and then, of course, you got Joey Gollihue, and Benji Atkins. This Chapmanville team, very scary. We'll talk about them when we get over to the West Virginia side. And then we got Kim Gibson says, what about the Jenkins Cavaliers and Winston Lee? Well, we're going to talk about them here in a second as well. So, guys, as you're sitting here looking, we talked about Prestonsburg. I guess the big thing is, when you look at, and we'll go ahead and get a few of the 58 districts out of the way here before we bring Cody on and go to 14th region. Real quick, what y'all's thoughts on Betsy Lane?
I'll go first, Thomas, and I'll pass it to you. We talked about during the summer. We talked about preseason. Darryl, Betsy Lane guard play as good as anybody in the mountains.
Yeah.
You talk about we talk about Cameron Pente having his best year to date as a senior. We're talking about Mr. Carter Parsons, Isaiah Allen, and now the emergence of Braden Hall, getting it done in a big time way. If those guards are clicking, Betsy Lane is a front runner to win region. And I don't want to take away nothing from Ethan Lance. He's having a phenomenal year, averaging 8 rebounds a game. But they are light in the post overall. If there's one area that you can really attack, it is in that painted area. But Mike Howard has got this team playing really well. with the lineup that he has. And credit Coach Howard because they're playing well and they're being led by Carter and Pente, and two of the best in the region as a dynamic duo.
I couldn't agree more. Cameron Pente is just unreal. I had the chance to interview him after one of the games there. Just the maturity of that young man. You talked about with Caden. It's the same way with Pente. Just so mature, and what he's doing on the basketball court is something special. I mean, some of the numbers he was throwing up are phenomenal. But I think the key is Ethan Lance. You know, Ethan Lance has brought somebody who can rebound the basketball, who does the dirty work, takes the charge, does everything you need to make them a difference maker. And they've got the right coach. Mike Howard he was in that Betsy Lane program for years. You know, a lot of people remember back. All of those great Betsy Lane teams when at the high school level, he built at the middle school level. So, you know, he's finally getting his chance. I think he's doing an unbelievable job. I really do.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I mean, I think Ethan Lance, 8 rebounds a game. You know, we knew what Ethan could do from his days, you know, and Ethan, you know, he's coming back from a couple ACL tears. So, you know, it's very hard for him right now to keep up with the pace at Betsy Lane. As he continues to get more healthy, this team's going to get better and better. And, you know, I see right now, you know, when you talk about transition basketball, and as you know, what wins in March is guard play. And Betsy Lane has 3 of the best in Pente, Parsons, and Isaiah Allen. And then, of course, Braden Hall, I mean, good rebounder, lights out shooter. I mean, he's kind of that X factor for him. So, you know, I don't expect him to slow down anytime soon. Now, going over to, we'll jump over to Floyd Central.
Well, and I know Thomas knows these guys really well with Jake spending his senior year there. Listen, it's the unknown of Chris Spriggs. Wouldn't you know it? And I'm glad the young man could play, but the game that he returns is against Prestonsburg and the district. And then since then, I think he's played very little, Darryl McCoy. And when you don't have Spriggs on the floor, and they're still competing. I mean, they had Pike Central beat the other night, but I don't think anybody in Floyd Central will tell you that this is the same team when Spriggs ain't on the floor. They got to get a healthy Chris Spriggs going, and they need him back for them to make a run. Are they still good? Yeah, but Chris Spriggs makes them region title good.
Well, you know what it has done. You know, you don't want anybody to get hurt and anybody to be out. But what it has done is it forced a lot of younger players to step up and get vital minutes. You see the 8th grader Howard coming in, doing a great job, 7-8 rebounds a game as an 8th grader. And as a big guy, that's tough to do, to come in as an 8th grader just because of sheer size and strength. Now, you know, you also got Wesley Buck playing big minutes. Christian Johnson's getting minutes. They've got the talent, but they really miss Chris Spriggs. I mean, he's the heart and soul. He's the leader. He's the swagger, whatever you want to call it. He's the it factor, right? And they got to get him back to make a run.
When it's all said and done, you know, this could be a blessing for the Floyd Central, because you got Logan Mead, who's learning to play that point guard position too. So, you know, it'll give you a lot of flexibility with Spriggs, you know, or whoever. If you get in foul trouble, players are learning to play different positions. And, you know, they're still long enough and athletic enough where they can, on any given night, they can pull off a victory against somebody. It's just the consistency ain't going to be there without their general, Chris Spriggs.
But what a ball game the other night, Darryl, between him and Pike Central.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, double overtime, 91-85.
That's a perfect example. Yeah. You know, play with anybody, you know, and as you sit there, that takes us to Lawrence County. Let's head down to Louisa. Chandler Thompson and them, man, it's the same team they always have, you know. I mean, you just plug players in and he continues to roll.
Exactly.
Lawrence County, really, really good. Again,
may have the best point guard in the region.
Say that again, Darryl.
May have the best point guard in the region.
Oh man, he's playing well, averaging 18 points a game, shooting over 50% from the field. Can get downhill.
And get a play at Chesapeake. I don't know whether y'all knew that, but the kid didn't get a play at Chesapeake.
Wow.
Either they was really good or the coach needed glasses. That's all I'll say. I don't know. Because that kid can ball.
Yes, he can.
I do think that they're vulnerable in the interior. I saw that against Prestonsburg. For instance, Braxton was able to get downhill, get a shot up over folks. I think that, and Pikeville's a perfect example, Darryl. Pikeville went to Lawrence County, bigger team, and beat them by 13 to 15 points at Lawrence County. You know how hard that is.
Yeah, well, you seen Belfry exploit that too, when they played them. And they don't even have a lot of size. So, but Lawrence County, where they're going to get, they're a lot like Shelby Valley. On any given night, they can upset any team in the 15th region. But, to say, can they win 3 games in a row? Well, they got to shore up some of them hoes to ensure that happens. So that's my opinion on them. And if there's anybody that can do it, I promise you it's going to be Chandler Thompson. So, guys, that's going to take us to our next commercial break. When we come back, we're going to release the top 10, our D&D Mountain top 10, and we'll bring Cody in because I know there's some 14th region teams on there, and we'll bring him in for a segment or so, and then we'll go on through the rest of the districts there in the 15th and over in West Virginia and see what your guys' thoughts are. But we'll be right back, guys, here in just a second as we continue the grind session, season 6, here on the D&D Sports Network with Kevin Keathley, Thomas Rainey, and Darryl McCoy. If you're looking for an award-winning tire shop that focuses on customer service that's family-owned and family-operated, stop by and see our friends Jeremy and Chasta at Punk's Tires. If you have a hectic work schedule and you're looking for a non-stressful, convenient way to buy tires, take advantage of Punk's Tires Appointment Saturdays. If they don't have the tire you're looking for, they guarantee it to have it the next day. Punk's Tires can take care of all your needs in tires, wheels, wheel alignments, brakes, rotors, minor mechanic work, and more. They'll treat you like family from the second you walk through the door. Come see us in Virgie, Kentucky, or give us a call at 606-639-TIRE. That's 606-639.
Kentucky Farm Bureau agents wear a lot of hats. They're coaches, volunteers, church members, neighbors, someone who's there when you need them, especially when you need them most. That may be a lot of hats, but they're all the perfect fit. Kentucky Farm Bureau.
And we are back here on the grind session as we're getting started here. This segment brought to you courtesy of Kentucky Mountain Health Alliance, Little Flower Clinic, Quantum Health, and East Kentucky Chiropractic. Go to them for all your medical needs if you're in the Hazard area. All right, guys, Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, Thomas Rainey, and we're bringing in 14th Region Guru Cody Thomas with us. Cody, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you guys tonight.
Yeah, So, Thomas, as we're getting to that point, top 10. Now, again, the girls' top 10 we'll do next week. We're starting with the boys this week as, we threw this tonight's show together. So, guys, are y'all ready to release it?
We're ready. Let's go.
Here we go. Now, tell me where we went wrong.
All right, number 10. Let's go. Number 10 is the Pikeville Panthers. Number 9, Shelby Valley. Number 8, the Logan Wildcats. Number 7, the Paintsville Tigers. Number 6, the Pike Central Hawks. Number 5, is Breathitt County. Number 4, Martin County. 3, Boyd County. 2 is Ashland. 1 is Hazard. Others receiving votes, you got Chapmanville, Tug Valley, Lawrence County, Betsy Lane, Jenkins, and Raceland.
All right, guys, as we sit here and look, and Cody, do you got a TV on in the background or another phone?
I can get one. What's going on?
No, we hear it's kind of like a muffled sound coming.
No, just my phone.
Okay, as we're getting started there, guys, Coach Keathley, we'll take your thoughts first on it.
Well, listen, I don't think you agreed with me on this, Darryl McCoy. Hazard, I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that they're the clear number 1. And I'll go a step further because you get some different top 10 rankings in the state. Hazard is legitimately a top 10 team in the state that can make a run at winning the state title. I promise you that. I got a chance to watch them up close and personal, Darryl McCoy. They're really good at every position. Evan Eversole is good to great. He's got a great supporting cast, and he's got guys that can come off the bench. When you talk about a Beverly, who's an all-region performer, when he's your 6th and 7th man, that Hazard team, no doubt, number 1 ranked team in this D&D poll. Got it right?
Coach, you looked at it. Evan Eversole, to me, is an elite high school basketball player, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The kid is elite when it comes to high school basketball. Now, you talk support and cash. We can talk Eversole, but Cody, we'll let Cody go on to it. But the secret to this team's success is they also got an elite shooting guard in Dalton Combs. And we'll let Cody go on, and you know the Hazard Bulldogs as well as any of us.
Yeah, Hazard's really tough. Like you guys said, Evan Eversole, I mean, he's a 6'6" floor general. He can guard all 5 positions. His footwork down low is immaculate. He just knows where to be. I was at practice last week, and, just didn't even in practice, if somebody wasn't in the right spot, he was communicating with them. And that shooting guard, junior Dalton Combs, he wasn't missing in practice. So, and, they got Seth Cottle, the senior guard. He's great. Like Coach said, Beverly, he's great. But they also got Trace Kincaid. He's coming up. That kid's tough. I mean, I would love to be able to have him, just as coming off the bench in case Cottle or Combs gets in foul trouble.
Kenyon Higgins,
Coach Holland
Tucker
has him going.
You also got Kenyon Higgins and Tucker Johnson. That's also 2 studs off the bench that helps in that front court. And, and listen, it always helps, as Thomas, when you got Al Holland on the bench, that helps a lot.
Pretty good coach over there, right? So knows something about winning. I don't know, maybe a couple games in his career, but you're right. They just got a lot of great talent. So I know everybody. This is the first thing I say when we put a top 10 out. Oh Lord, because you always got the naysayers, Coach, the second guessers. Well, my response to them is, who do you take out? Who do you move? So,
well, I'll say this on that top 10. There's 2 things that I look at right now. And listen, I think Pikeville, we saw them up close. Prestonburg saw them up close and personal. They've got all the pieces to win a region. But record-wise, now they did knock off Lawrence at Lawrence, which is a huge win. But I'd like to see more out of Pikeville in terms of wins and who they knock off and who they beat. And then the other one, Darryl, and I'm surprised, Darryl, this team got 2 big wins, and I'm surprised they're not at least on receiving votes unless I didn't hear it. It is the Phelps Hornets, Darryl. This team is legitimately good, and they knocked off Tug Valley and they knocked off Wesley Christian, a national team.
They did, but they also lost to Mingo Central. That I think got them. That got them behind the 8 ball starting out, and they've got a couple big wins. But I think that people still, they got to see them put some consistency together. I think before voters will start voting for them in the top 10. But I agree with you; they're a team that definitely is right there on the verge of being on that top 10. I'm surprised that, none of the voters put them in there. But, when you sit here and look, obviously, Jenkins sitting at 10-1, they're in the 14th region over where Cody's at. You got Breathitt County from the 14th region. Then the 16th region is very top heavy this year. Ashland, Boyd County at 2 and 3. And then after that, it kind of pans out a little bit. We talked Lewis County's a good team. We've seen, Bath County can upset some people here and there. But other than that, Rowan County's always right there. But Raceland, having a really good season so far, they're getting votes. Could see them in the top 10 before it's over. But, every area is well represented in this top 10.
They are. I think outside of Boyd and Ashland, I think Lewis and I think Russell starting to come together. So I think Lewis, Russell, and Raceland's the next 3 teams in that region, however you want to put them there. But very top heavy in the 16th. Go back to a team you mentioned in the 14th. The job that Winston Lee's done at Jenkins, man, oh man. Darryl, they got a big win against your Belfry Pirates.
Yeah, they did, and I knew early on, as you see right there, the stat leaders for Jenkins, when you take, they're right there, top 5 in just about everything. It's the offense, they're putting up, nearly 80 points a game. And, when you could do that, you got the size. They got the best passing big man in the mountains. I'm telling you, there's no other big man that passes like the transfer from over at Letcher. Cam Hayes, and then you take Gavin Gibson, you take Aiden Hayes. Their size ballers a lot of people. And then they got the new transfer that come in from Virginia. They got as good a starting 5 as anybody. But I think the thing that's going to be tough for Jenkins when it comes to making a push at the top 10, and you see them getting votes. I'm surprised at 10-1, that they didn't make it in it. But when you look at their schedule, their strength of schedule isn't as hard as the rest of them.
Yeah, but still, 11-1. I was looking so forward to that game Monday night when it was going to be them and county rival Letcher. I was super excited about that one. The snow got us, and hopefully they'll reschedule that one soon. But still, 11-1, they're on the right track. If you look, and people always say, well, they're not even in the top 10. Well, they're 3rd in the 14th region on our poll, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
People don't look at it like that, but they're the 3rd-ranked team in that region, according to us.
Yeah,
we're always right.
when you take a look, it's just when you look at their schedule, to me, for them to make it in that top 10, I think they're going to have to run the table when it comes to Letcher and not Central when they play them too. I think they get wins over them too, then I think that's when you're going to see them move up in that top 10. But right now they still, their best win is probably Belfry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
without a doubt, that's the biggest. They won on the road at Belfry, and Belfry had just came off a win over, if I'm not mistaken, Perry Central.
Yeah. So that's huge. And Cody, you're over there in the 14th region. When you take a look, we got them 3rd in the 14th region. When you talk Jenkins, Perry, Central, not Central, how do you got them 3 playing out? In what order?
I would go Perry Central, They give Hazard all they wanted to at home. Come down to free throws,
They
strategy
beat
at
Martin
the end.
County.
They beat Martin County. Then, I seen Not Central at Floyd Central Saturday night, and Talon Osborne and Chance Ambergy, they're doing their thing right now. I think they won their third game in a row. And, like you said about Jenkins, their schedule, they got Lee County coming up next, Hurley, Virginia, Leslie County, and Lee County again. So, their strength of schedule is not there, but, the kids on the floor don't make the schedule. So, they could be scary. You go come tournament time, just like a well-oiled machine, just keep winning. But yeah, I really like Perry Central with the, especially with Trayton. If he's playing well, they can do a lot. Early in the season, I seen them at DJ Begbie Classic, and they had a loss, and I was like, what's going on? But at that Hazard game, they were really on point. So and Knott County Central, with Ambergy and Osborne, their offense, Drake Sloan, it's hard to turn them over because those three right there are great with the basketball. I see Floyd Central, their press is really good, but, Drake Sloan doesn't speed up. Drake Sloan makes the correct pass. He just had his 200th assist. So, they have a leader in him, and then they also have Osborne and Ambergy. So, I really like them, but that's how I'd have those three.
Well, the thing, and I agree with you, Cody. I think they're all three good teams. But the thing about Perry Central, they're so up and down. They'll beat a team you're like they shouldn't be competing with, and then they'll lose to a team you're going, wow, they should have really won that. They're just not consistent to me. And I agree, Jenkins' schedule's not the strongest, but if you've got a lot of new pieces as a coach, that's a good way to build confidence too. You're coming in now, you're 11-1, you've got all these new pieces believing, your stats are showing that you're doing a good job. And like you said, come tournament time, I'm with you, Cody. I think they could be scary.
Yeah, there's nothing scarier than a team, throwing wins in towards tournament time.
Yep.
They're going to be used to winning. So, they're going to be tough. Like you said, they're not in the top 10 right now, but who's to say they're not there in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think a couple, like Darryl said, they got to have that signature win. They've got that's the only thing holding them out of the top 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach Keathley. When you sit there and look, this Jenkins team. The thing about them is they match up well. Like Breathitt County. If you could take and get Breathitt County and Hazard on the same side of the bracket, get Jenkins on one side, they match up well with Breathitt County because they're the one team in the region that does have size.
Well, they have size, and they've got size that can cause Breathitt County issues, and meaning length and speed, Darryl McCoy. So their size is maybe the Achilles heel of a Breathitt County because they're more of that. Listen, as they say in Breathitt County, you got a couple of hosses in the paint, and they go to work in Canaan Gross and the other one, Darryl McCoy.
Gross and
well, two big guys.
Here in a second.
But and people and I've heard people say, go ahead, Darryl, while you think about it. I'll mention Austin Sperry. Listen, I'm the president of Austin Sperry's fan club. Everybody knows that. I love that young man. He's a next level, big time performer. And people ask me, well, what's going on this year with Austin? Nothing's going on with Austin. Is his point production down some? Yes, but it wouldn't surprise me if I look at his assist total that he might be top 5 in the state in assists, Darryl. He's really distributing the rock and at a high rate this year, which has made a couple of those outside threats even more deadly.
Braxton Terry, right?
Yeah, there it is, Terry.
Yeah, Braxton.
Yeah, and when you look here, the ones obviously, Jaden Stewart, he's top 5 in scoring, top 20 in rebounding, has Pike Central. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if Pike Central would have enough supporting help but to have them sitting sixth right now, and then Paintsville with that size of theirs, we've seen them night after night coming in at 7. Then Logan Wildcats is, let's see, them and Hazard, I think, is the only 2 undefeated teams on this top 10 so far.
Hazard's dropped the game, though.
Did they drop one? So you got Logan's the only undefeated team.
But Hazard just had a huge win over GRC. At GRC, it was 66-57. So that's a heck of a win. That's a tough win right there.
Quality win.
Yeah. That's huge win. So, but when you sit and look, even going over, to West Virginia, having Logan, Tug Valley there, and I tell you, a team that's going to sneak up in there is Wayne as well, playing really well right now. But, Chapmanville, they're built. We know what Brad Napper does. Wouldn't surprise me if they don't push their way up toward the top 5 before it's over with. But they've got to beat Logan this next time around. Logan has a win over them right now.
Well, Darryl, Logan, young team, right?
They're kind of a mixture. I mean, you got Lucas Lambert, who is very young. You got Grayson Sanders. You got Zoe. You got a few young pieces, but you also got Matt Hatfield. You got the Zayden Sherrod, Ivan Miller, and McCormick Ilderton, who are all junior seniors.
I was at the
Coach Hatcher doing a tremendous job mixing that talent and age and experience together. Really doing a great job so far this year. Big fan of Coach Hatcher and him returning to the sidelines.
Yeah, that's his biggest key as anything. Everybody wanted to see, he led Logan to a state title with Stevie Browning and them, wanting to see if they can strike lightning in a bottle twice here. And Cody, you was at that Logan Chapmanville game. Cody got to see what Coach me and you've seen many times on the West Virginia side. It's a little wild over there, right, Cody?
That's the best game I've been to all season. Lambert, he looked great. They got chippy, coaches, players. He was back and forth. Logan pulled out the win. But, that's probably the best basketball game I've been to this year, just as far as atmosphere. So West Virginia basketball, I've got a little taste of that. But the atmosphere that night, actually all day, because Logan and Chapmanville squared off from middle school all the way up to girls and boys, all the way up to, that nightcap there with Logan and Chapmanville. So it was a great day over at West Virginia. And Logan's really good.
That's something I like that West Virginia does. They have that like rivalry day, so to speak, where you'll have, and it's boys and girls all the way from start to finish, because boys and girls middle school plays at the same time for the Kentucky fans in West Virginia. So they would have a girls middle school game, a boys middle school game, a JV game, a varsity game, and it just made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. And, that's something we talk about. While he said it got chippy and a little chaotic there, we call that a normal night in Naugatuck, right?
That's exactly.
Wait till you go to Tug Valley games and see how passionate they are, Cody.
Yeah, when you got West Virginia State Troopers out there, getting the coach back on the bench. Yes, something's going on.
A lot of fun, guys. As you sit there and look through the top 10, that pans them out. And I tell you here in a second, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go over the rest of the 15th region, and then we'll go real quick by area. We'll go we'll go ahead and do our early predictions, who we think is going to win the 14th, 15th, and our West Virginia side, as well as the 16th. You'll come right back and join us just a second here on the Grind Session, Season 6, with Kevin Keathley, Darryl McCoy, Thomas Rainey, special guest Cody Thomas.
Experiencing pain or an injury is a part of life. Don't let that hold you back. Whether it's chronic aches and pains, athletic injuries, or recovering from a surgery or other physical issues, HPT Physical Therapy is here to help you return to your normal activities safely and as quick as possible with a plan of care designed just for you. We have been serving the communities of Eastern Kentucky for over 20 years, and we have convenient locations in Pikeville, Prestonsburg, and Paintsville, Kentucky. Check us out at hptphysicaltherapy.com. You have a choice of where you go for physical therapy. Choose the best.
This is Bruce Walters from Bruce Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at
And we are back here, season 6 of the grind session. Thomas the Maestro Rainey, Darryl McCoy, Kevin Keathley, and special guest Cody Thomas here as we'll bring Cody back on here. But this segment brought to you courtesy of Logan Bank and Trust. Right now, they can give you great deals on loans. Hit them up. Logan Bank and Trust, true supporter of all mountain athletes. All right, guys, as we're getting ready to get started here, let's make sure up to this point, we'll go on with the leaders, rebounding and points leaders here before we get started on our predictions. But start with points. Braxton Keathley. Now, this isn't updated. Right now, he's averaging what, 32.9, Coach?
I believe so.
Yeah, 32.9 points a game. Jaden Stewart, little over 30. Thomas Jacob Spurlock coming in, 28 points a game. Walker Russell, 27. Parker Watts, 26. Xander Carter, 24. Pente, 23. Brevin Ricker, 23. Weddington, 23. And Braden Shepard, 22. There's a couple. I'll go ahead, Maestro. Who's the one that surprises you the most on the list?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these are all Cameron Pente, I would say. I knew Cameron was a baller. He played, he's the last remaining member of the East Kentucky Bearcats. That was that was on that team I had. I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was 24 points a game solid, Coach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew he was a great player, but that's an impressive number. I guess that's the one that surprises me the most.
He was basically Thomas's water boy, Coach.
I mean, he's worked hard.
I said he was basically your water boy, Thomas, on that team.
Well, listen, he sat behind a pretty good point guard in Ken Works, too. It's hard to take Ken Works off the floor.
Yeah. Coach, who surprises you?
Well, listen, I'll go along the same lines there when you talk about Cameron Pente. Darryl, we talked about it. Defensively, really good. Distributing the ball, really good. Plays with a chip on his shoulder. Got to love all that. I didn't think that – and here's the thing. He's shooting about – I don't know if it's changed, but the last time I checked, it was 53 to 55% from the field. I didn't know if he had those 28, 30-point games in him playing alongside another 20-point night game scorer in Carter Parsons. So that's tough to get. But Cameron Pente has really been, especially in the 2025 class, a really great surprise. Love what he's doing.
My surprise is there's a couple on there, but mine is Braden Shepard playing next to Austin Sloan. Did not think he would get the opportunities to do what he's doing, but we all knew he had the capability. Lights out 3-point shooter. Him and Walker's probably my two surprises. Cody, any of them catch your eye?
Probably Walker Russell or Cameron Pente, but Coach said it. He's got Carter Parsons there in the backcourt with him, and at the DJ Baker Classic, Carter Parsons had 20 at half, but the second half it was Pente. He took over the scoring load. So when you play them, you got to pick your poison. And Cameron Pente, he's playing really good ball. So,
exactly.
I didn't think he'd be on that list, but he's being consistent. He's scoring the ball, and they're winning. So there's probably him.
Can I change my pick?
Yeah.
Braden Shepherd. I expected to see a Johnson Central Golden Eagle, but I didn't expect Braden Shepherd. I mean, Braden Shepherd's a great player again, but when you think of Johnson Central, who do we think about, or who starred in that 15th region tournament last year? Austin Sloan.
Yeah,
that's who I would have expected. But Braden's had a great year so far, shooting the ball really well. So I would add them as Cole, my two picks, I guess.
And the thing about that is, Thomas, and we've all talked about this behind the scenes, and me and Darryl has a lot. Braden Shepherd, listen, I've watched those young men play for a long time, him and Austin. Austin is as good as it gets at scoring the rock. But Braden Shepherd might be the more three-level of a scorer, if you know what I mean. It's that three ball. It's that mid-range. It's getting to the rim. Darryl, he's shooting almost 87% from the free throw line. He was coming, and you didn't know when it was going to happen. Was it going to be his junior or senior year? Well, no. Sophomore year, he has officially arrived as a dominant shooting guard.
Yeah, I've told people forever, Coach. I told you a couple of years ago, Braden Shepherd's the one on that team that he's scary, and he puts the work in, and he's become a threat, and so hats off to him. Johnson Central, I expect the same thing to happen that happened to him last year.
Yep.
If you remember, the regular season wasn't flashy. I think they had 10 wins, but they went into the postseason clicking on all cylinders. So
yeah, you're right. I think they were 13-16, Darryl, something like that. Yeah. Ended up winning 3-4 games, finished 16, 17, and 15 on the year. You're right. Again, they're not necessarily jumping out of the gate at you, but Tommy McKenzie always has them ready to go come February.
Yeah, I agree. And then we're going to jump over here real quick, look at the rebounding leaders. No surprise here at the top. Tyler Weddington, 14.2 rebounds a game, sits at number 2 in the state behind UK commit Malachi Moreno. Then you got Jaden Stewart with 11 boards a game. Eversaw, 11.2 as well. Braden Estep from Martin County, 10.7. Bryson Edwards from Powell County, 10.6. Walker Russell, 10.5. Brock Woods, 10.2. Brady Robinson from Wolf County, 10.2. Aiden Hayes, 9.8 at Jenkins, and Terry Delaney, 9.3 at Letcher Central. Any shocky on there, guys?
I'm not shocked. Well,
there's one.
No,
Martin County, Braden Shepherd, or Braden Estep.
Yeah, maybe Estep.
Yeah. I didn't know Walker Russell could rebound the ball like that, but I seen him over at the Schoolboy Classic, and I see why his numbers are. He's averaging 10-5 a game. So
that's Walker's game, is rebounding. That's his strength.
Well, it's just he's so quick off the ground. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So quick. Yep. To me, it's Weddington only has 14. I mean, the way he rebounds a basketball, I guess I expected more.
Yeah, well, he'll get them, but here's the thing: he's got help. He's got another 6'5", 6'6" guy next to him now, so he don't have to get every rebound.
He's just a bit. He's a man child. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, he is just what a true post player should look like,
Yep. Walker,
everybody's wanting him to play AU ball for them.
Oh, exactly.
They really want him.
Yeah.
Everybody does. He's a lot like Evan Eversaw. Coach, I'll say it, when he's a senior, we'll say the same thing we're saying about Eversaw. He's an elite high school player.
Yeah, he's continues to transform his body. He's a little quicker this year, more mobile, tough to guard once he gets you on his back on the blocks, as we know. Having another good year, 22 points a game, 14 rebounds. Tough matchup for anybody.
Go back to the scoring. You don't have to put it up, Darryl, but 4 players in our coverage area inside the top 10 in the state.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
4 inside the top 10. So you got Keathley, Russell, Stewart, and who's the other one? Spurlock?
Yep, Spurlock.
Yep. That's crazy.
And Parker Watts sets it, I think, 12 or 13. So, I mean, that tells you we've got some incredible basketball being played right here in the mountains right now.
Yeah. I had a coach tell me the other day, he messaged me and he said, listen, he said, right now, he said, we're in a great time if you're a high school hoop fan. He said, man, what a time to be a basketball lover right now. So much fun. Basketball being played by these kids in our areas. It's so fun to go watch a great game or compete in a great game every dang night in the week. That comes from a 15th region coach.
We've been a part of some classics already. Listen, that double OT game at Prestonsburg and Phelps at the Fieldhouse, that was a classic, man. I mean, we've been a part of some unbelievable games already this year. D&D Sports Network has, from the Floyd Central Pike Central game to our game at as we mentioned with Capital and Huntington Prep. The list goes on and on of just unbelievable games.
Belfry, Lawrence County.
Yeah.
That one there, definitely a lot of fireworks in that one. And, guys, when you sit here and look, there's going to be a lot of basketball. Jacoby Qualls says 15th region is the best basketball around, better than a college game, night in, night out. Catbird Isaac says, Thomas, where are you? It's 9:14 here, and you must be in Africa or Australia.
I'll fly back in tomorrow to cover the game.
Coach, we've said it many times. Thomas, he has that jet lag. He's all the time on the road. He's out west right now, out in Arizona.
Frequent flyer miles.
You never know where Thomas Rainey is on any given day, any given night.
No. So, guys, as we're going to sit here, we'll go over again. We'll go through the 15th here really quick. We went through the teams on our thoughts. We'll go, 58th district. Who do y'all got winning it?
Well,
where's it at?
It's at Betsy Lane, I think.
Betsy Lane. Yeah. Well, I'm going Betsy Lane. I know Lawrence County's beat them there once. I'm going Betsy Lane.
As of now, it's held at Betsy Lane. Everybody stays healthy at Betsy Lane. They're the front runner. For me. Now, listen, any one of those teams, Prestonsburg, Floyd Central, that depending on Chris Spriggs, and Lawrence County can cut those nets down if everybody stays healthy and everything stays status quo come March.
Or Cody, who you got?
I would choose Betsy Lane since they're at home. I mean, Lawrence County's really good. They got Caden Harris, but with Parsons and Pente, I think they'll have it. Chris Spriggs is not with Floyd Central, but Prestonsburg, 5 wins in a row. They're hot right now. So, how tournament time is. Right now is when you're playing ball. It doesn't matter what your first 5 or 6 games, if you won or lost. It depends what you did the last game. So, but Betsy Lane would be my choice.
I'm going to pick Lawrence County. I think I'm not going to bet against Chandler Thompson. And I think when you take 1 through 5, there's not really any drop-off. They got some consistent pieces, 1 through 5. And, again, I think, there's a good chance, I'd have to sit and think about this before I tell you definitively, but there's a good chance they might have the best point guard in the 15th region.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of those.
Yeah, well, I say that, but there is a guy up on Betsy Lane named Cameron Pente. So
I do want to say this about Prestonsburg and their evolution and where they could go, and I want to credit the coaching staff over there at Prestonsburg. Coach Harold Tackett, he's doing a lot like Scott Castle did last year, Darryl. You saw McGoffin County was kind of hit and miss early, but everybody kind of started figuring out their roles, and everybody started kind of, okay, this is how we're playing. And a lot like Coach Castle, Coach Harold Tackett's letting those big three play through mistakes, play through adversity, and that's only going to make Prestonsburg better as the year goes along. So I think Prestonsburg still has a long way to go in terms of their ceiling.
You say it all the time, Coach. Don't sub just to be subbing. Let your key players stay out there, get comfortable.
And Coach Tackett's done a great job of that. He's really given those guys confidence, and even those other guys, Tegan, Ryan, and Graham Schutz when he comes in. Caden Aaron's now evolving as well.
All right, guys, as we'll move to the 57th, perennial, one of the toughest, if not the toughest region or district out there. Who do you got in it? Thomas, start with you.
I mean, I have to go Martin County right now. But you're right. There's three that could win it. I mean, I think McGoffin County graduating what they did, even with my man Russell, I just don't think they can. The other three could pull the upset, or the other two could pull an upset, but I think it's Martin County's to lose.
Cody, who you got?
I'd probably take Martin County as well with Parker Watts and their team, Bryson Dowles. They're playing really good ball right now. But McGoffin with Walker Russell and hit that squad, they're tough. They're a physical team. So Martin County, if they play good defense, Martin County should win that region.
Coach.
Yeah, Martin County, piece by piece, is the toughest matchup in the region when you talk about how do you game plan against. Again, Parker Watts going to give you 30, but then Bryson Dowles can give you 30. And then Peyton Davis can get you a triple-double. Maynard is maybe the toughest matchup in the interior. So Martin County, front runner. The one thing, me and Coach James has talked a little bit over the year, when he shores up, and that's going to happen because they shoot a lot of threes, they're going to give a lot up in transition. But when they really dial into that, Darryl McCoy, they're going to be they're a top 25 in the state good team if they shore up that side of it.
I agree with you. This summer, we went to Hazard, played really well down there in them tournaments, and you got to see the potential of Martin County there. But, when you got, listen, at the end of the day, Bryson Dawes, as he gets more experience, he's going to make them that much better. And when you got Peyton Davis, the senior, the vet coming in, lockdown defender, he's hit 37 of 75 threes, shooting 49.8% from three-point range. That's insane, shooting that many threes, shooting that high percentage. And then, of course, Parker Watts, the high flyer, he's a superstar. And, if Braden Estep continues to star in his role and get 10-plus rebounds a game like he's averaging right now, Martin County's got the clear best five in that district in the 15th region. If you can get them to your bench, then you might have a chance. But, as long as Devin Maynard and crew stays out there, then I think Martin County is going to be hard to beat.
I agree. I do think Paintsville can cause Martin County some issues in the half court, though, with their size and strength at each position.
Yep. I agree. I think Joss Central or Paintsville, could make that run. I don't think there's any team unbeatable, but I do think Martin County's the clear one. We'll see how they match up against Prestonsburg Thursday night. So, guys, jump over to the let's go 59th district. Thomas?
Pikeville.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
I mean, you got Shelby Valley, who's there too.
No, I got Shelby Valley. Sorry.
I'm going Pikeville. I'm a huge Coach Taylor fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying Pikeville, been there, done that, got the T-shirt. They've got the experience, so I'm going to ride with them right now.
Who you got, Coach Keathley?
Man, oh man, listen, it's tough to bet against Elijah Justice and what Ian Onst is doing. He's got a great group of players around him, and Jackson Keene and those guys. But Darryl,
E.B. Walters.
E.B. Walters. Man, is he not playing? Man, he's playing some physical basketball, Darryl McCoy.
E.B. Walters is top 10 in field goal percentage in the state.
Listen, if anybody tuned in to watch that Prestonsburg Pikeville game, he wasn't giving anybody anything around the rim.
No, I give his AAU coach all the credit.
Right. Yeah. But I'm you know what, Thomas Rainey, I'm with, I know people are going to be shocked because me and Darryl McCoy agree here. But I think Shelby Valley, if they stay healthy in a tournament atmosphere, I'm riding with Shelby Valley.
All right.
Cody?
I choose Pikeville, but Pikeville has to be hitting their shots. Paintsville, like Coach Keathley said, with the size, you got Brock Woods, Ethan Cole, they got Jace Kenner.
No, we're talking about Shelby Valley. And,
Shelby Valley. I'm sorry, yeah. But Shelby Valley, if they're, like Coach said, if they're healthy, then they could win it. But if Pikeville's playing good basketball, I don't see any reason why they should win that region.
Yeah, I think they got the chance. I do.
Coach hit it. When you take Shelby Valley, the thing with Shelby Valley is you got to weather the storm. And you put them in a tournament atmosphere where the crowd is going to be rowdy and rambunctious the whole game long, then that's going to keep that energy flowing for Shelby Valley. They pressure you like no other. And right now you see, they're sitting, they only got 3 losses, I think, on the year, somewhere around there. But I just think that, that matchup there, it's going to be tough. If Pikeville can match up with their physicality, then they'll have a chance. But it's other than that, I think the pace that Shelby Valley plays will give Pikeville some issues.
And Darryl McCoy, listen, I'm a big Coach Taylor fan. I don't think there's any coach in this region that walks around with a bigger chip on his shoulder. That man's like, listen, I don't care who you are, where you're at, who you got. I'm going to kick your rear end, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, he ain't. And listen, he's somewhere every night in a gym scouting. Yeah. The man lives and breathes it. So, and listen, don't forget, he was once Elijah Justice's coach.
Yeah.
In college. So, that's something to remember. But, guys, that takes us over to the 60th district. They only got 3 teams in the 60th. Pike Central, Belfry, Phelps. Thomas, who you got?
I'm riding with Jaden Stewart and Pike Central.
Yeah.
Darryl, where's the district at this year?
Should be at Phelps. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still going Pike Central.
Darryl, no surprise, Pike Central is one of the leaders in the state in rebounding. Me and you talked about that. I think they're 1 or 2 right now in the 15th region of rebounding. That's going to be, if they win the district, is what carries them. We know Jaden Stewart is going to do what he's going to do, but I think it's that collective rebounding of Owens, Stewart, Caden Lawson, and Big Bad Brad Builder collectively on that glass is what will carry them to that. Darryl McCoy, that's tough, man. I'll come back to that one.
Yeah, we'll go Cody, then we'll come back. Cody, who you got?
That's a toss-up with Pike Central. You got Stewart, 30 and averaging 30 points, right at 12 rebounds. But we haven't got to see Zaid Rash play for Phelps, and it's at Phelps, so he could take off a load for, Tyler Weddington. But, like Coach Keathley said, Jaden Stewart, he's going to get his, and I think he's just going to be the leader for that team, and they're going to come out of it.
I'm going to go, and I'm talking about hair-thin right now between these other two teams because of the experience Stewart has in postseason play and the fact that Stewart, Grant Hall, Peyton Owens, Big Bad Brad, Caden Lawson have played together so long together, going all the way back to fourth grade, just by a razor's edge right now, Pike Central.
That's actually a good way to go. If you're going to, make the case, the experience for Pike Central, that's the key, because none of the other teams have that experience, in the region tournament. None of the other ones have made it there, and may not surprise you guys, but I still think at the end of the day, Belfry, when you look at the postseason, it always comes down to guard play. There's none of them's got two guards or three guards like Belfry's got, and I think that, you're seeing every game Ethan Dawes get better. Ethan Dawes, is one of the state leaders in rebounding. As he's continuing to get healthy, putting up monster double-doubles, closing in on 1,000 points, probably should hit it next game. Then, you're seeing them, you're seeing new pieces. So you're not seeing, you got to think with Belfry, the only games that's been, the only game that wasn't a game was the game at Paintsville.
Yeah.
Every other game, they've been right there at the end. I think Belfry's a team that can beat anybody on any given night, but they can also lose against anybody on any given night right now. And as you see that team continue to grow and the chemistry grow, I just don't see the other ones. I think they got the two best guards in the district, and, it's going to be hard for anybody to match up with them two.
And let me credit Coach Brent Perry, who I became a huge, huge fan of, a lot like Coach Tackett over at Prestonsburg. He's letting those guys grow together, Darryl. He's letting them play together through mistakes, through adversity, through hurdles, and he's not saying, no, you don't have to look over your shoulder. I believe in you. And you know how far that goes as a basketball player in a team. And I think that's one of the biggest assets Coach Perry has with that group is they know Coach believes in us. And I can go out there and I can screw up or I can drop 15 in a row, and it's the same mentality. You got this. You got this. You got this. Credit Coach Perry and how he's evolving and growing this team's mental toughness and mental confidence.
Yeah, it's just it's a situation. Obviously Phelps, their size with Tyler Weddick, the Belfry's weakness is rebounding. But listen, Bryce Hagee continues to get better every game out. Ethan Dawes has took a load off him. And then you look on the bench with Loomis and J.B. Woolham joining the team. And Carter Jude right now, he's playing as good as basketball as any. When Carter Jude is clicking, and he's getting everybody else involved, then Belfry is a very hard team and going to be a very hard out. They're the one team. Pike Central and Phelps are a lot alike. They got size, they got rebounding. The one advantage that Belfry has is, as I mentioned, they got great guard play. So I'm going to take the Pirates.
Yeah. And Bryce Hagee, a lot like Peyton Owens for Pike Central, Darryl, he does so much that goes unnoticed that don't go, again, I hate you don't see it in the scorebook or see it in the stats. But Bryce Hagee does a lot for that Belfry Pirates team. I'm a bigger fan now of him now than I was when he was an 8th grader. I mean, he's a big part of that team.
Listen, give him a month, and you could very well be saying Ethan Dawes is the best big in the 15th region.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
You're starting to see it. You see him stretching the floor. You see him. He's posting double-doubles like they're going out of style, and so – be interesting. But guys, jump over to the 14th real quick. Not sure. I think it starts at the 54th, but we'll just go. We'll go. What 4 teams do you see in the semifinals, Thomas?
Hazard, Breathitt. The other, let's see. So then you got to go to the 53rd is I'm gonna go with Jenkins upsetting somebody in the 53rd because I know that's not who they would think. So those three, and then I don't know the districts over well enough, Darryl. That's what I was trying to look up real quick.
Yeah, Cody, give me your top four coming in the semifinals.
I go Hazard, Breathitt, Perry Central, and Jenkins.
Coach?
That's who I go with.
Listen,
if Perry Central is playing, they're not consistent. Sorry, Coach, but like Thomas said earlier, their consistency's not there. But I think Trayton Woods and them could get to the semifinals, and Jenkins only down one game, so I just see those four. I just see those four teams: Austin Spray, Breathitt County, but Hazard. I mean, that's a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer with the team they have and the coach they have. So those four teams.
Coach.
Yeah, listen, Hazard, obviously right now, clear favorite. I don't think anybody disagree with that. Here's, again, I'm just naming top teams because I don't know how this is shaking out. But you go Hazard, you go Breathitt, you go and we said this long before anybody else did. I think Jenkins is the top 5 team in this region. Jenkins, and I'm going to add Knott County, and I'm going to add Powell County as a dark horse in there. It's 5 teams. Powell County can sneak in there.
Yeah. Powell County would be my 4th too, because I was trying to think who's in that 56 district.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say in that one, I'm gonna go Hazard, Breathitt. Then I'm gonna go with Jenkins, and I guess that if it's that district down there, if you're going win each district, I'm probably going to stick with Powell with y'all. Because Bryson Edwards is playing good basketball right now. Hit 1,000 points. He's averaging 10 plus rebounds a game. He's a stud. So who would have ever thought they lost what they lost last year with Jack Rose and Brandenburg, and they come back a better team?
Exactly.
And didn't they lose Connor Morganson?
Yeah, Connor Morganson lost a coach.
Wow.
So Ashley Dalton says he's taking Belfry right now. Said taking Belfry in the end of the season. Right now it's PC, but time to bond for Belfry. So as you look over in the 16th region, guys, and you ain't got to go district by district, but give me the 4 teams at the end, Thomas.
I'll go Ashland, Boyd, Raceland. Who am I missing? I don't know. Ashland, Boyd, and Raceland stick out. I can say that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going with Ashland, Boyd. Lewis County is really, really good. I saw them up close and personal. They did get hammered by Russell the other night with Caleb Rimmer. I don't know what went on there. Russell locked them down and held them to like 40 points. But outside of that, Lewis has played great this year. But I'm going to go Ashland, Boyd, Lewis, and Russell with an outside of Rowland County coming around and finally getting things going.
Yeah, Cody, I know you probably don't know the 16th as well, but I'm going to go Ashland, Boyd, Raceland, and Rowland. I'm going to stick with the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Normally Chalk wins out in that 16th region. So now that takes us over across the river, over to West Virginia. And guys, at the end of the day, give me the 4 teams sitting at the end. Who's the top 4 teams at the end of the season in West Virginia?
Who wants to go on that one?
What's the? I mean, are you going by class?
There's not class. Just who are the best 4 teams at the end when you talk in West Virginia in our coverage area?
Well, I mean, obviously, and I know they lost to Phelps, but there's nothing wrong with losing to Phelps, like we talked about before.
No.
I still think Tug Valley's got a chance to repeat as the Class A state champion. I agree with that. I really like the way Logan's playing right now. They're sitting there ranked right now number 2 in the state. The rankings were just released. Wayne, I really like what's going on over at Wayne. And then obviously you got Chapmanville. Yeah, they're young, but they can surprise some people. All they got to do is get everything clicking. So I that would be my top 4 in our area.
Darryl, I got a chance to watch Logan twice. Of those 2 games, I've been really impressed with Logan. I think Logan's going to be exactly where they want to be at the end of the year. Logan, really like what I see out of Tug Valley, going back to the zip zone, getting a chance to watch highlights of them, and since then they've played solid. I like Chapmanville.
Yeah.
And now I'll tell you another team I like, Darryl, is, and I've seen them play twice as well, as Tulsa.
Yeah.
They're a lot like they're a roller coaster that they could be there at the end. And then I'll say the final thing, if they get Maynard back at Mingo Central and the other kid, that's a totally different team.
Kendon Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna over in West Virginia. I'm gonna go. I think it's at the end of the day, I think the best team at the end of the season, the best team. It's hard to bet against Brad Napper. He does it every year. And when you take a look at the talent that he got in there with them transfers of Keaton Terry, Jay Brock. You got Gollihue, Benji Atkins, and then as Coda Dalton continues to get better, this team's going to be scary. It's they're just athletic, and their size at every position is going to be hard to match up with. And Keaton Terry might be, listen, it's hard to believe that you might say there's somebody that's going to push Tyler Weddington for the best rebounder in the mountains. If it is, it's Keaton Terry. Because that's what that kid does, and he's just a freshman. And then I'm going to go Logan, too. I think Mark Hatcher, and obviously people says Logan got the win over Chapmanville. Well, we'll see. If so, I'd switch that around if they beat them again. But Mark Hatcher doing a fabulous job. Matt Hatfield coming in, just making veteran plays. McCormick Ilderton, the ultimate unselfish guard. Then obviously the young freshman Lucas Lambert. Right now he's proven to be one of the toughest matchups over there. And then Tug Valley, defending state champs. They lost to Phelps, and then they lost to Tucker County yesterday. That Tucker County game, or this weekend, that Tucker County game is probably what you're going to see in the state championship game in single A is them and Tucker County. They get a chance at Tucker County February 1st, I think. Tucker County comes to Naugatuck. It was a 2-point win. Yeah, 2-point win for Tucker County yesterday. And then for the last spot in my final 4 on the West Virginia side, I think it's between 2 teams. I think it's between Wayne and West Side. Right now, listen, you got Caden Vance over at West Side. You got Ike Meddings. I'm going to take Wayne just because I'm hearing they might be a coaching change at West Side. I hope that's not the case. But, I know Wyoming East lost their coach because I guess, they used an obscene word in a locker room. Well, I guess that's kind of what happened with West Side here with our good friend Thomas Evans. I hope he's able to keep his job, but I think Sean Meddings, Ike Meddings, and crew there at Wayne, You know, they got size, they got shooters, they got guard play, they got everything it takes to be an elite team. I'm gonna go with Wayne as the fourth. So, you know, and don't forget, when you talk about Wayne, guys, Ike Meddings, just come off that game where he dropped 42 points against Winfield in the school's first ever victory over Winfield. Now, the Winfield Generals have dominated Wayne for, the foreseeable history. And then they come and get that big win in Ike Meddings' senior year. So this Wayne team, that just shows you what they're capable of. So
that Chapmanville Logan game was a slugfest.
Yeah,
it was really, Chapmanville had the lead, and Logan, won the game, but it was a slugfest. So those two could be a toss up at the end of the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those teams beat each other.
They got 4 great players, and then you got 2 young stud freshmen that's trying to prove themselves in Dalton and Lambert. So that's going to be a matchup. Brad Napper, Mark Hatcher. That's going to be something you want to keep an eye on. That's going to be a fun rivalry. I promise you that. But that brings us real quick, guys, to the to the girls' side. Listen, we're going to have our top 10. We'll go into it a little more next week. But you give me right now top 5 girls programs, Thomas, in all of our coverage area.
Oh, Lord. Now put a man on the spot, right?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go. I think Johnson Central's got to be right up there. I do. I think they're one of the top. Is it Knott County? I really like Knott County over there in the 14th. Don't know much about West Virginia. I also like, I think Pikeville's coming on. I think they've got a couple quality wins. I would throw them in there. What am I at, 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting tougher. I don't know. I'll go with my top 3. How about that?
All right. The Coach, you want to do your 5 first? Or you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna go Ashland 1, Johnson Central 2, Boyd County 3, Knott Central 4, and then 5. I'm gonna surprise you here. I'm gonna go over to the. I'm gonna go to the Logan Lady Wildcats.
Oh, you forgot about our good girl. The good girl.
Oh no, Wayne. Yes, sorry.
I was thinking to myself when I saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Wayne. I'm gonna put Wayne right there. I would put them 3. So you got Ashland, Johnson Central. Then I would probably go Wayne. Then Boyd County. Now remember, guys, though, something that surprised me. Wayne dropped a game the other day to Russell.
Wow.
But I still got Wayne. So I guess the odd one to be out would be Logan in mine. Coach, who you got?
Well, I'm going to go with Johnson Central at the top. Talking with you and Thomas Rainey over the last year, I personally don't know as much detail about them, but I'm going to trust you two and go with Wayne at number 2, then Ashland at 3, Pikeville 4, and you can go a toss-up with a lot of different teams out of that 16th region.
Yeah. Rowan County's very good too.
Yeah.
But McLaren is over there, Cody, in your 14th region. I think Knott Central. It's Knott Central's region to lose over there.
Yeah, I got to see her play at the WYMT. They were really good. I can't remember they played, but McLarness, she had a huge game. Every time she touches the ball, she makes something happen. So definitely Knott Central. Johnson Central, of course, probably won. I haven't got to see Wayne play. You guys probably know more about that than I do, but and Ashland. I've seen Ashland play, so that's who I'd go with.
Yeah, I think in your district or region over there, I think it's going to be not Central with Hazard. Todd Howard's doing a fabulous job there with that group, and then I think Owsley County. After that, I think it's going to be hard for anybody to knock them 3 off.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, guys, as that's rounding us out, we went a little longer. We'll do our rundown here real quick, get everything out of the way here. Let's see what we forgot. We mentioned Braxton Keathley, number 1 scorer in the state, 32.9 points per game. Sophie Atkins, top 10 scorer. I think she was ranked 10th or was it 7th or 10th on the scoring list. Sophie Atkins was, and then of course Callie McCoy and the Phelps Hornets. She's ranked 5th. Callie McCoy, 5th ranked scorer in the state, doing a fabulous job over there, keeping Coach McCoy's team relevant and keeping them in the mix. Thanks to Callie McCoy, Kylie Weddington, they got Kaylin Sloan. Nice young group there for Coach McCoy. And then, of course, want to give a big shout out to Macy Brown for Owsley County. She leads the state, or she's 2nd in the state in rebounds on girls, 14.7 rebounds a game.
She's impressive.
We've got a chance to see her, Thomas, a few times. She's hard for any big to match up with.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Yeah. And don't forget, was it Cody? Was you with me when Letcher Central beat Owsley County, or was it Floyd Central beat them?
Floyd Central beat them.
Yeah,
it was Floyd Central. Yeah,
yeah. So and that's one that we left out there, Floyd Central. That's going to be one to watch. But also, guys, fast break. Bryson Edwards, 1,000 career points. Shout out to that young man, as he's got the Powell County Pirates on the move. Caleb Rimmer, 1,000 points. Hats off to him. We had Caden Allen, don't have a picture of it, but got his 500th rebound. And then we also, last but not least here, let me see the one I was forgetting here. Carter Parsons picks up an offer from Alice Lloyd, guys. How about that? His hard work getting paid off with a big in-season offer. And, guys, I think Alice Lloyd would be an amazing fit for this young man.
Absolutely. Great athlete.
Yep. So hats off to him. Carter Parsons picking up the big offer. And that, I think, rounds it out. We're going to be seeing a lot of milestones hit, guys. So you'll have plenty of them to celebrate throughout the Grind Session show. And guys, as you sit here and move on, we don't know what day that we'll get to do it on. I would say right now, if we had to bet, it's probably going to be on a Sunday, right, guys?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So we'll have on Sundays. We'll go with that for now, unless you hear different from us. But this was the first show. We know we had a lot piled in. We was trying to get you caught up on everything that's going on in the regions and across West Virginia and Kentucky. So we'll go back, starting our normal format when we start talking. Talk about players. Players rankings, team rankings. We'll throw in some middle school basketball. All that and more. We got a exciting season here on the Grind Session for you guys. Cody Thomas, keep your ear to the ground in the 14th region. We'll bring you on, here and there on the shows moving forward to keep us caught up there. And again, guys, want to thank everybody for tuning in. And any last words, Thomas?
No, new year, ready for some basketball. Hopefully this weather breaks and we can get some games in. Busy schedule coming up.
And real quick, Janice Roden says, when does Belfry play again? They are scheduled to play Eastridge tomorrow, Janice. So, Coach Keathley, are you set up in the corner over there?
Listen, I'm hidden here in a little nook. I'm ready to go there, Darryl McCoy. You get on the D&D Express phone and let me know where I need to be. I'll be there with you.
Here we go, guys. So, guys, for Thomas Rainey, Darryl McCoy, Kevin Keathley, and Cody Thomas, till next time, so long and good night.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. That's money, guys.
Money.
See you next time.